Yeah, don't get up, buddy. It's cool. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. There's been a lot of HO videos lately, done a couple of those. Haven't done BRIO in a minute. And believe it or not, I do read my emails and I do see the comments and I usually respond to them. We'll get back to BRIO or Wooden Railway reviews very soon. I'll be doing this next Monday. This is a wooden version of the Southern Pacific 4449. I'm really excited about this because that is absolutely probably my favorite locomotive. It's hard to pick this one, but if I had to pick this one. But today we also have something very, very special. We have a product from Broadway Limited, and this is a NW2 switcher. Broadway Limited, if you're new to HO model railroading, Broadway Limited, they're down in Florida, and they make, my opinion, I think a lot of people would agree, they make some of the best HO locomotives as far as detail and all that good stuff goes. Sorry, there's a cat in the background that wants to talk, and it's not Dick, who's usually in the videos, but not today. So let's take a look at this the switcher from Broadway Limited, and we'll compare it to some of our other HO locomotives that we've looked at recently. And there it is. It comes in a very nice box, and it's well protected, that's for sure. There's a slot down there with instructions and paperwork and whatnot. And I actually, I have opened this once before, but I have never run it. I've been exercising self-control for the better part of a month until I finally had time to make a video. Take your time with the packaging. It does take a minute to figure out sometimes. There we go. Again, very well packaged. Let's take a look. Now, if this basement was a little more organized, I have an NW2 switcher, a USA Trains one that's painted for the New York Central. I wish I could take that out, but it's buried under a ton of stuff. And even with the ugly LED lighting I have in this room, and the sun's gone down, you can still see there's a exceptional level of detail. The handrails and stuff. I believe this is plastic, but it's really thin, unlike something like this, which is fine, and this is certainly, everyone would agree, is more of a toy grade train. A really high level of detail on this thing. They did make a couple different road numbers. I opted for 1949. No particular reason. This is equipped with Paragon 4, as you saw from the packaging. And if you're not familiar with that, that's just that's Broadway Limited's. That's what they typically include to run for if you have a DCC system. Talk a little bit about that more in a moment. I don't have any DCC equipment for HO scale. All my DCC stuff is G scale, but it should run just fine on regular, good old-fashioned direct current. Let's get this on the track and we'll look a little closer at it. So we got our re-railer here, which I'm still not sure why that isn't just called a railer. All right. And if you're curious, this track is Kato brand. I talked pretty extensively about that in the introduction to HO or getting started with HO video. You can check that out if you like. And real quick, let's talk about couplers real quick. So this has a knuckle coupler. And I commented on a previous video. I believe it's the same one I just mentioned, getting started with HO. So look at this tank car here. It has these old hook couplers from back in the like 70s and 80s, and Tyco and Lifelike and some of the brands that were popular then. They use couplers like this, which are definitely not compatible with these. And I wondered, because I'm just getting back into HO, I wondered if that was the new, these are the new standard or what. And so a viewer actually commented on that video. So shout out to Castellas, if I'm pronouncing that right, or if that's Spanish, it's Castellas. I'm not 100% sure, but he did explain that knuckle is now more the standard. That was not the case when I did HO as a younger person, so it's nice to see that's changed. They look better, that's for sure. And I believe you can just swap these out with a KD coupler. I'm sure there's a way to do that, but I'm probably not going to bother. The part of tinkering with small pieces, all that stuff, that's a part of the hobby I don't really enjoy. So I'm really not going to bother. I'll just run the old stuff with the old stuff and put the new stuff on the new stuff. All right, let's get this guy rolling here. Let's see. Okay. The sound out of this is great. I mean, I expect a certain quality of sound when I do G-scale, because they're much bigger. You can fit a good-sized speaker and all this, but this sounds fantastic. I'm really pleasantly surprised. Broadway Limited's reputation is fantastic, so I expected it to be a good product, but this is really a pleasant surprise. And this is the cat you guys never see, for some reason wants to be in video today. And the Chicago Northwestern F7 that we looked at from the Menard starter kits going by. And without even doing side by side, you can tell there's a huge difference in the level of detail. I'm just going to be quiet and try to let the microphone pick up a lot of the sound here. All right, let's start this going around here. With a slow speed. Again, if you're new to model railroading, slow speeds are actually much more tricky than high speeds. They tend to have a lot of stuff will tend to have like kind of a little lurch. It's apparently a difficult engineering process, I guess, to make that nice and smooth, and they've done an excellent job with that. That little jumpy start, that was more my fault. Please excuse the mess. My basement, which is slowly becoming the train room, it's very slow. It's an ever-going work in progress. I'm going to increase the speed. That F7 is not in a hurry. Let's get him on the straightaway and get him stopped. Again, I don't have a DCC set up here for HO, not yet. would have a lot more functionality if I did. I could control the sound and lights and all kinds of fun stuff like that. That's one of the very cool things about DCC is the giant range of functionality you have. Yes, those are Star Trek videos on VHS. I have the entire original series. Kind of proud of that collection, strangely. Alright, let's pick up the speed. Which I didn't realize my throttle was almost all the way there. So that's about it. That is full speed, but it's a switcher. It's not meant to go fast. These guys have a lot of torque. It can pull a lot of cars. And probably wouldn't lose very much speed doing so, but it's not, these are mainly meant for yard work and stuff. So I did see Broadway Limited talking about this particular model on one of their videos, and they commented on that. It's not going to win any races, but it can pull a lot of cars. Really, it's got a lot of different sounds and stuff. I'm really impressed with that. You hear that little squeak when I slowed it down. I mean, you can hear the drop in RPMs on the diesel. And this is just with the regular, DCC Kato power pack. Out of the box, or excuse me, DC. No DCC fanciness or anything. I mean, there would be so many more cool things I could control with a DCC setup. But yeah, just if you don't have that, like I don't, and they're a little expensive, this still looks, it sounds amazing. So. I really hope the microphone here is picking up some of the sound. All right, let's bring around the Bachmann F7 from that starter set, and we'll kind of compare the two a little closer. I'm not going to talk too much about the old Lifelike brand chassis from the late 80s, early 90s. It's very old. It's not really meant to compete on a modern level, but it runs well, and if you're just having fun, it's fine. But these two are both modern. Got our F7 unit from Bachmann, and there's a couple different levels to Bachmann trains, is my understanding. This is from a starter set, so it's very, very entry level. But I was, compared to what they used to look like, I was kind of, the paint's nice and crisp. I mean, there's a level of detail that wasn't there 30, 35 years ago. You can see little rivets and stuff in the paint, but it is very basic. I mean, there's no light in the cab or anything like that. The number plate doesn't light up. The headlight does. But this guy, I mean, see all that detail in that Try to get my camera to focus here. You can see all the detail in that grill. All these railings look fantastic. The paint is superb. Just a really, really, really cool level of detail. And, you know, the not putting down Bachmann at all. I mean, it served its purpose. It's a locomotive in an entire train set that costs $99. This is $250. I think I got it on sale for $199, but I believe the normal retail price is $250 just for the locomotive. That's more than all the track you see here. So, you know, it's for a guy that's done a lot of G-scale in the last 4 years, and BRIO's not cheap either, let me tell you. At least the track certainly isn't. You know, that doesn't seem so bad when I've paid many hundreds more for locomotives. But for HO, that's a lot of money. But you do get a fantastic product. And you know, maybe Broadway Limited is probably not where you want to start. Maybe you start more over here. You're just getting started. But, you know, if you want a very realistic railroad, you want something, you know, you care about the finest levels of detail and whatnot, yeah, this is for you. And honestly, I gotta think anybody watching this video probably already knows that. And fortunately, my memory is failing me right now. There's something, I thought there was something unique to the Southern Pacific NW2s. I can't remember what it was right now. Like the placing of the bell or something. Maybe somebody can leave me a comment. And that's something to touch on. Even though a lot of railroads used an F7 and a lot of railroads use these switchers, and even on modern stuff, there are differences from railroad to railroad. They'll order them up a little bit differently, and there are certain things that are unique. This model, this is an EMD. Chessie never ran this model. I believe only Milwaukee Road and Santa Fe ran it, but it's painted for Chessie. So, you know, I get it when guys are really finicky and want something that's modeled correctly and stuff. Doesn't bother me. I'm trying to keep it, you know, I can get really OCD on certain things, and I'm trying to keep this loose and keep it fun. And especially here on the channel, like, you know, if there's younger people or people just getting into the hobby, there's no reason to nitpick. But if you are that level of modeler, railroader, yeah, something like this is maybe what you're interested in. So a quick word on the Paragon 4. Again, I don't have, obviously it sounds great. It's ready to go for DCC. All that's wonderful. I do not personally have any experience with DCC HO of any kind. And a couple things I've read on Broadway Limited's Paragon 4 technology. Most people seem very happy with it. It sounds amazing to me, but again, I don't have all the DCC functions here. But I have read some people complaining about some compatibility issues. There's a bunch of different manufacturers that make DCC equipment, and maybe some of it just doesn't always pair up or whatever immediately. I don't know what those issues are, and I really can't comment to that. I do know Broadway Limited in general has a very good reputation, but something to maybe just be aware of if you're concerned about some compatibility issues or something. Maybe check on a message board or do a little Googling. I actually met one of the Broadway Limited guys at the train show in Cleveland back in April. They seem very nice, and they're you know, they want everyone to be happy and like their product and stuff. So you know, they have a service department and stuff. If there's an issue, you can always send it in. But just to make everyone aware, I did read a couple comments about some issues with compatibility. Not a lot of issues. But a couple people, and I don't know what equipment they were using or anything, so I can't comment further on that. But in general, it is a very Very good, very quality product. Now, I'm going to be quiet and let this thing go around a few more times, and we're going to give it the load of cars from that Bachmann, because those have knuckle couplers. All right, so we got, sorry about the shadow. I don't have, if it was daytime, that wouldn't be there. Sorry about that. But let's bring down our rolling stock here. So we got, these all came with the Bachmann starter set from Menards I recently reviewed. And I was kind of pleasantly surprised. The caboose is very basic, but some of these look much better than they used to as far as entry-level rolling stock. And I'm sorry this isn't going to show up better, but we got two different brands, but they both have a knuckle coupler, so they should connect, and they did. All right, that's fantastic. It's very even height and everything. Ideally, you want to have those be as even as possible to avoid uncoupling or anything like that. Let's get this thing rolling. So on DCC, or excuse me, on DC, a little bit of a start, just kind of a jumpy start like you saw there. I geared it up slowly, but it all just kind of kicked in at once. Slowing it down though, that's not a problem. And I've had that issue when I even the DCC like G-Skill stuff, when I put it on DC, sometimes it just doesn't always go quite as smoothly as you might. So stop messing. So here I'm at about a third of the throttle, and that's giving it power. The light is on, the sound is on and stuff. And then from there, if you just kind of go, that's it. That now it has a much more. I really just can't get over how good this thing sounds. I'm sure when I was a young person in the 80s, I saw some of these working in person, but I don't really remember. More recently, in my 40s now, I did see one running the Age of Steam. It's a very cool roundhouse in Ohio, about an hour and a half from where I live. They have a lot of cool locomotives. Many are operating, but they had one of these. I don't recall what the history of it was or what railroad it was decorated for or anything, but they do have one of these that's operational that they use. I'm sorry, I don't recall off the top of my head the details, but I did get to hear one, and yeah, just kind of like a, just, you'd expect a big diesel noisy engine from this era. I want to thank all of you very much for watching the video. I hope this helped you on your decision to make a purchase, or maybe educated you a little bit, or just entertained you and didn't bore you completely. If that's the case, then it's a win for me. And if you like trains, then I like you. So hopefully you'll come back and watch some more videos. And this originally started out as just a channel kind of focused on G-Skill, but it was the wooden railway stuff, the BRIO videos, that were getting the views, so I concentrated on that. But I just kind of like all trains, so I'm kind of doing a bit of everything now, and BRIO's still going to be a focus. So I'm going to commit to doing a BRIO video every Monday. So if that's why you're here, don't despair. I'll definitely be doing at least one a week. And if that's not your thing, hey, no hard feelings. We can still be friends. Just watch the ones for the skill you're interested in. No big deal.